The light within you, a message for the chosen. My child, listen. The stars do not ask for permission to shine, and neither should you. When light emerges, shadows must recede, for it is the nature of light to reveal, to warm, to call forth life, even from the darkest soil. You, beloved, were never meant for silence. You were never meant to be hidden away, buried under the weight of doubt, or shackled by the judgments of others. They tried to bury you with their silence, their mockery, with every whispered doubt behind your back and every obstacle they placed before you. But know this, they were not simply opposing you. They were standing in defiance of the very universe itself, a universe that called you into existence with purpose, with intention, with love. When you strike a match in pitch darkness, it blinds those who have lived too long in the shadows. And now, as your light rises, they squint, they scramble, they grow furious because the light refuses to die. Your light, my child, is not meant to be dimmed. Before we journey further, I invite you to pause. Not for numbers, not for vanity, but for purpose. Every time you engage, every time you share, you help carry this message to another soul still wandering in confusion. You let the world know that this message matters, that it is time to awaken more warriors, more chosen ones, more bearers of light. This is how we signal the universe. We are no longer asleep. You have always felt it, haven't you? That quiet before something big happens. That hum in your chest that never quite matched the world around you. That longing for something more, something true, something that finally fits. That wasn't anxiety, my child. That was your signal. A gentle whisper from the universe itself, a call to rise. You were never meant to stay hidden. You were not born to follow the crowd. You were born to rattle the system, to walk where others run, to stand where others fall. The power inside you is the kind that burns quietly for years and then, suddenly, erupts. You are the earthquake no one predicted, the storm they thought would pass quietly. But you did not pass. You stayed. You shook the ground. And now you rise. When the universe chose you, it placed a mark upon your soul. Not everyone can see it, but those who fear your light, they feel it. It haunts them, even if they do not understand why your presence unsettles them, why your silence is louder than their noise. Deep down, they know you are not like them, and you were never meant to be. Still, some of you doubt yourselves, still believe you are alone, still think you imagine the signs. Let me be clear. You did not choose the light. The light chose you. And the moment you began to rise, everything that could not come with you began to fall away. Friendships cracked. Environments grew hostile. You began to see through the masks people wore. That is not coincidence. That is evolution. Let us set one thing straight. Stop apologizing for your light. Stop shrinking just because your energy is too loud for shallow souls. You were never too much. They were simply never enough to handle someone like you. You do not need to fit into their world. You are here to rebuild it. You are not merely surviving. You are stepping into your crown. This is what they feared, not merely your success, but your awakening. Because when a chosen one wakes up, the entire system starts to shake. And now you leave, not in bitterness, not in fear, but with power, with purpose, with that quiet storm in your eyes that says, I am not coming back. You are one of the first, the ones who leave for good, the ones who carry the codes for the new earth. They fought you because they sensed it. You were never theirs to begin with. And to every force that tried to dim you, hear this. You were not fighting me. You were fighting the universe that chose me, and you lost. Now rise, chosen one. You are not merely walking away, you are ascending. So, chosen one, do you feel that pull deep within? That fire, quiet but undeniable, that tells you this message is meant for you? Do not scroll away. Stay with me, for this is not just another message. This is a call to your soul. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you know you are not here by accident, but by design. The universe does not waste time on the unready. This is your signal, meant for you to hear to the end. If you are one of the first to be crowned for the new earth, you will feel it. Let us step into it together. 1. No more knocking. You are here to break down doors. The wolves always fear the lone lion, not because it follows the pack, but because it never needed one. Listen closely. You do not ask for space. You take it. You do not beg for a seat at their table. You flip the table and build your own. They tried to chain you, box you in, make you small. But what they never understood is that your destiny was never written in pencil. It was carved in stone. They were never fighting you. They were fighting the system that chose you. And no one wins a battle against the universe. For too long, they fed you lies. Dim your light, play nice, make yourself small so they can feel tall. They slap labels on you. Too intense, too much, too different. But let us call it what it was, fear. They feared what they could not control. They feared the reflection of their own weakness in the face of your rising power. So why do you still doubt? Why do you still question whether you belong here? The universe does not crown anyone by accident. Chosen is not a title you apply for. It is a fire branded into your soul. That is why your path has been rougher, heavier. That is why you have been tested harder than the rest. While they were busy fitting in, you were being forged. Still wondering why your presence rattles cages? It is because you are the blueprint. You are not following their tired scripts. You are tearing them up. You are not made to blend in. You are made to blaze through the fog like lightning across a dead sky. And yes, that unsettles people. It should. The same way a storm unsettles the calm, because it is meant to. Stop waiting for their permission. Stop hesitating at their gates. The chosen do not knock, they break down doors. And if no door exists, they carve one through the wall. This is what they have always feared. Not just your strength, but the moment you realize it. Because when a chosen one knows who they are, the whole system cracks. And about that little voice still whispering, "But why me? Am I really chosen?" Here's why. The universe does not gamble. It selects, sharpens, sends. You would not feel this pull, this fire, if you were not built for it. You would not be hearing these words if you were not one of the few who could carry this weight. They played a dirty game, stacking the deck, twisting the rules. But they were not just playing with you. They were playing against the system that backs you. The universe has tilted the board in your favor. Every time they tried to break you, the universe recalibrated. Every attack against you was a misstep against the force they could never outmaneuver. Still doubting? Fine. But understand, that doubt feeds them. Every time you hesitate, every time you shrink, they grow bolder. But when you stand tall, when you own that you are chosen, you flip the script. You become the nightmare that haunts their comfort zones, the shadow that looms over their false sense of control. You are not here to play along. You are here to overthrow. Stop knocking. Stop waiting. You have been given the keys to the kingdom, and the locks have rusted in your hands long enough. This is your moment. The universe has aligned for you again and again, and each time you doubted, it sent more signs, more storms, because it refuses to let you sleep on your power. Enough. No more permission slips. No more knocking. It is time to break the doors down and take your crown. They cannot stop what is coming. You are not just leaving, you are ascending. And when you rise, you do not rise alone. You bring down their walls. You shatter their illusions. You leave for good, not quietly, not politely, but with the force of a star exploding into new creation. This is your new earth. You are one of the first to be crowned. 2. When you move, systems crumble. The shattering has begun. The tallest towers do not fall by storm, but by the steady push of time, and chosen ones are time itself, come to collect. Understand this. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to ask for space. When you move, systems do not bend. They break. You are the quake beneath the surface, the pressure building in silence until it explodes. Unstoppable. Undeniable. They spent their lives building walls, stacking stones of fear, control, and silence, believing those walls could hold. But here you come, shaking the ground beneath their feet with every step. The universe is not politely asking you to rise. It is demanding it, urging you, shoving you forward whether you feel ready or not. Because time is up. The old systems, the cages dressed as kingdoms, the lies paraded as truths, they were never built to withstand the weight of your awakening. They thought they could keep playing the same game, running the same tired scripts. But you, chosen one, are not here to play. You are here to rewrite the rules entirely. Let us be honest. They know it. Every system built on fear and manipulation senses your rise like prey senses the shadow of a predator. They feel the shift, even if they pretend not to. Your very existence puts cracks in their foundations. You walking into a room with your authenticity, your raw power, is like swinging a wrecking ball through glass walls they thought were unbreakable. They will resist. Oh, they will kick and scream, because nothing terrifies those who cling to control like someone who no longer fears losing it. They have worn their masks so long they have forgotten who they are underneath. Your light, your unapologetic truth exposes them. It pulls at the threads of their illusion until the whole fabric begins to unravel. That is why they fight you, not because you have done anything wrong, but because your existence forces them to see. And they hate what they see. They hate the reflection you show them, the proof that freedom, truth, and power do not come from controlling others, but from standing alone, unchained. But here is what you must stop doing. Stop flinching. Stop apologizing for shaking the ground. Stop softening your voice to soothe their fragile egos. This was never about them. This is about you becoming who you were always meant to be, a force of nature the old world cannot contain. Still wondering why your path is heavy, why the air grows thick when you speak truth. That is the resistance you are built to overcome. Every time they try to put you back in a box, every time they try to rewrite your story, you grow sharper, stronger. You are the fault line beneath their crumbling empire, and every breath you take widens the cracks. But here is where most chosen ones falter. They let the resistance make them doubt. They let the pushback plant seeds of uncertainty. Let me tell you what the enemy will not. Resistance is confirmation. If you are not a threat, they would not be fighting this hard. If you are not shattering the old systems, they would not be scrambling to patch the holes. And do not believe the lie that you are alone in this. That is what they want you to think. The universe does not choose one. It chooses many. Scattered across the world, Chosen ones just like you are hearing the same call, rising in their corners, cracking the system from every angle. You may feel isolated, but isolation is only the cocoon before the emergence. You are not hidden, you are becoming. And when you break free, when you spread your wings, the whole system will feel it, like 1,000 storms breaking at once. You have already begun the shattering. Every step away from lies, every truth spoken aloud, is another hammer swung at the chains that have held humanity down. Yes, they will fight. They will try to shame you, gaslight you, make you doubt yourself. But that is the sound of the old world dying. Let it scream. Remember, they are not fighting you. They are fighting what you represent. The new earth, the unchained future, the unstoppable force that comes when chosen ones remember who they are. Still a whisper of doubt, still wondering, am I really the one to do this? You would not feel the weight if you were not meant to carry it. You would not be here hearing these words if the universe had not stamped its mark on your soul. You are the storm. You are the shattering. You are the force they never saw coming. Stop waiting. Stop softening. When you move, the ground shakes. When you speak, the walls crack. When you rise, the old systems fall. 3. The era of truth is here. You are the flame. The truth is not polite. It does not whisper. It arrives like fire and it burns everything false to the ground. This is the moment everything cracks open. The masks are slipping, the illusions crumble, the lies run out of places to hide. And you stand at the center of it all, the torchbearer, the flame that refuses to flicker out. This is the era of truth, and it belongs to you. You have always felt it, the quiet knowing beneath the noise, beneath the chaos. While they told you to sit down, blend in, stay quiet, something inside you roared back. Number, you were not born to wear their mask. You were not born to parrot their lines, to nod along with their lies, just to keep the peace. Peace built on lies is not peace. It is a cage. And cages were never meant to hold you. Still, they tried. They called you too much, too loud, too intense. Said you were making waves where the water should be still. What they really meant was, you scare us. Because truth always scares those who have built their thrones on lies. And here is what makes them squirm even more. You are not afraid. While they cling to the collapsing walls of their fake systems, you have always stood ready to tear it all down. You knew it was coming. You have known all along that this was your purpose, to dismantle the false, to build the real, to stand in the middle of the wreckage with your head high and your fire burning. That is why they fought you so hard. That is why they laughed at you, mocked you, cast you aside, because they felt this moment coming. They felt the weight of your truth long before you spoke it. They sensed the storm in your bones before the first drop fell. But now they are running out of places to hide. And here you stand, undeniable, no longer the outcast, no longer trying to fit in. You are the one they follow. Even if their pride will not let them admit it, they watch you from the corners, mimicking your courage and whispers, stealing pieces of your light and pretending it was theirs all along. But they know deep down who lit the match. You are the brightest flame in this era of truth. And no, they cannot contain you. They have tried over and over, tried to silence you with fear, with shame, with isolation. But the thing about fire, the more they try to smother it, the hotter it burns. And now, chosen one, that flame has become a wildfire. They cannot pretend anymore. Your presence, your truth, is too loud, too real. It shakes their walls, rattles their cages, forces them to see. Even if they close their eyes, they feel the heat and they hate it. Because your existence exposes everything they tried to bury, everything they lied to themselves about. But here is the thing they never understood. Truth does not need their permission. It does not need validation. It does not care about their comfort. Truth simply is. And when it arrives, it does not knock politely. It kicks the door in and floods the room. And you are the door kicker, the flood, the voice that does not lower itself to make liars comfortable. But I know somewhere in your mind doubt still creeps in. Why me? Why do I feel this so deeply? Why does the fight feel so heavy on my shoulders? Here is why. Because you were made for it. The universe does not give this burden to those who cannot carry it. The universe gives it to those who will stand even when the ground splits beneath them. You are the chosen one, not because life has been easy, but because you have survived every attempt to break you. Every time they cast you out, every time they ridiculed you, they were sharpening your edges, tempering your steel. They made the mistake of thinking you were fragile when you were just forging. So now, let me be blunt. Stop doubting. Stop questioning if you belong in this era. This era belongs to you. The era of truth does not wait for permission. It does not ask for approval, and neither should you. They are already following you, quietly, nervously, mimicking your steps. But they will never walk like you because they have never stood in the fire like you have. They have never faced the storms, the rejection, the isolation, and kept going anyway. You, chosen one, are undeniable, a force that cannot be ignored, and no matter how much they resist, no matter how much they pretend not to see you, the truth remains. You were born to burn the lies to ash. This is your time. This is your crown. Welcome to the era of truth. 4. The collapse of control, their grip slips, your power rises. You can cage the bird, but you cannot quiet the song. And the louder the song, the closer the cage comes to breaking. Let us not sugarcoat it. Their systems, those tired, rusted machines built to control, to suppress, to break spirits, they have failed. And do you know what is worse for them than failure? Watching you rise anyway. Watching the one they tried to chain now walk freely, with power so raw it leaves them speechless. Watching the one they called too much, too wild, too different, become the very standard they now secretly measure themselves against. Look around. The ones who once scoffed at you, rolled their eyes when you spoke your truth, now stand quietly in your shadow. They watch you move through the world without asking, without begging, without shrinking. And it burns them inside because they tried so hard to break you. They threw every weapon they had: rejection, isolation, ridicule, doubt. And still, here you are, not only standing but leading, not only surviving but thriving. Understand this: they were never scared of your voice. They were terrified of the moment you would realize you do not need their permission to use it. That is what kept them comfortable for so long. The illusion that they had power over you, that their approval somehow mattered, that you needed their validation to move forward. But the game is over. Their control has collapsed. Their grip has slipped. Their attempts to suppress your light have done the exact opposite. They did not dim it, they sharpened it, hardened it, made it impossible to ignore. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your power is now blinding. It pierces through the darkness they built. And here is the irony that destroys them. You never needed them, never needed their acceptance, never needed their green light to rise. They fought so hard to convince you that you were dependent on their systems, their structures, their rules. But the whole time you were building your own foundation, brick by brick, flame by flame, until the day came when you no longer looked to them for anything. You do not lead because they handed you a crown. You lead because you are the crown. You lead because your very presence commands it. Your presence shifts the air. You do not ask for permission. You exist, and that is enough. And make no mistake, they know it. They feel the shift. Even if they do not speak it aloud, even as they pretend they are still in control, deep down, they recognize the truth. The systems they built were never strong enough to hold you. They were never designed to withstand the force of a chosen one waking up. So, let me ask, why would you ever shrink again? Why would you ever lower your voice to soothe those who tried to silence it? They failed. Their failure is written all over their faces every time they watch you move freely. Every time your light blinds them. Every time your truth echoes louder than their lies. And yet, some of you still hesitate. Still wonder if you are being too much, if maybe you should turn it down just a little. Let me be clear. Do not dare. You are not too much. You are exactly what the universe intended to shatter the cages. Every step you take without their approval is a hammer swung at the chains that still bind others. Your freedom is the crack in the system, the proof that the control they worshipped can fail. But control does not die quietly. It will hiss, it will claw, it will throw everything it has left at you. Why? Because you are the living proof that they never really had power. Only the illusion of it. And illusions crumble fast when the truth walks in the room. You are that truth. You are the collapse of their control. So walk tall, speak louder, lead without apology. Because when you do not just free yourself. You shatter the cage for everyone watching. You show the others still chained that freedom is not given. It is taken. You are not here to ask. You are not here to wait. You are the end of their control, and they know it. 5. Ascension beyond their grasp. You rise, they scramble. The mountain does not bow to those who threw stones at its roots. It rises, and they are left to kneel beneath its shadow. Look at them now. The same ones who laughed at you, rolled their eyes when you spoke your truth, dismissed your uniqueness as weakness. Look at them scramble, straining to keep up with the path you carved so effortlessly, struggling to mimic the power that flows through you as naturally as breath. The same voices that once mocked you now choke on their words, trying to catch up. But here is the truth they cannot swallow. They cannot follow where you are going. You are ascending, and they cannot reach. Their old tools do not work anymore. Manipulation, control, gaslighting, all of it shattered at your feet, broken like the illusions they clung to. They played their game for so long, thinking you were just another piece on their board. But you were never on their board to begin with. You were the storm rolling in, the flood that sweeps the board away. And now they come to you, humbled, shaken, trying to reclaim some dignity as they approach the very light they tried to snuff out. They come seeking the truth they once ridiculed, the same truth that lived inside you from the beginning, the truth they rejected because they could not handle the reflection it forced them to see. But you do not need to speak to remind them of their failure. Your existence does that. Every breath you take is a mirror to their cowardice. Every step forward is a reminder that they failed to break you. They threw everything they had, doubt, shame, betrayal, and it was not enough. You did not just survive, you ascended. And now they stand in your shadow, haunted by their choices, haunted by the wounds they inflicted, thinking you were too weak to carry them, haunted by the memory of your silence which they mistook for surrender. But you never surrendered. You were becoming. This is what they cannot handle, the realization that the one they tried to bury has become the mountain they now kneel before. The very presence they tried to erase has become the force they cannot ignore. They come now with trembling hands, whispering words of regret, seeking forgiveness for what they did when they thought they had the upper hand. But you were never weak. You were waiting, growing, rising. They thought they were silencing you, but you were sharpening, forging, preparing for the moment when you would rise so far beyond their reach that all they could do was look up from the wreckage and wonder how they ever thought they could hold you down. You have crossed a threshold they will never touch. They scramble behind you, but they will never catch up. You are ascending on a path designed only for the chosen, a path carved from the storms you endured, the betrayals you outlasted, the fire you never let extinguish. That path does not loop back. It does not slow down for those still clinging to the old ways. They want to follow now, but it is too late. The gate they refused to walk through when it stood open for them has closed, not out of spite, but because it was never meant to stay open for those who spat on the truth. And here is the most brutal truth. They made their choice. They chose to mock instead of listen. They chose to wound instead of understand. And now, watching you ascend beyond their reach, they realize the cost of that choice. They realize they burned bridges that led to their own freedom. But that is not your burden to carry. Their regret is not your weight. You do not need to entertain their apologies, their guilt, their shame. Your focus is forward, always forward. Your rise is not about them. It never was. Their regret is a side effect, a shadow cast by your brilliance. But the climb, the crown, the ascension, that is yours alone. Let them watch. Let them scramble. Let them kneel. But do not slow down. Do not dim. Do not soften. Your rise is unstoppable and they will never catch up. You are beyond their reach now. Ascend. 6. Breaking the chains. You were the storm they could never cage. They tried to bury you, forgetting that you were a seed. Now they tremble beneath the roots of the forest you have become. They built walls, walls of control, walls of silence, walls of doubt. They thought they were clever, constructing barriers to hold back the storm they sensed brewing inside you. They saw your power before you did, felt its pulse, so they did what the fearful always do. They tried to cage it. But storms do not ask permission. You were the storm they feared, the force they whispered about behind closed doors, hoping if they ignored it, it would blow over. But storms do not blow over. Storms break, storms shatter. Storms erase the old landscape and carve something new in its place. And now, here you stand, untouched, unstoppable, walking through the wreckage of chains they once wrapped around you. They did not just fear your light. They feared what your light would do to the shadows they lived in for so long. They feared the mirror your existence would hold up to their faces. Because to see you walk free is to confront the cages they willingly sit in. That is why they fought so hard to keep you chained. Because if you broke free, what excuse would they have left for staying trapped? But here is the truth. You never needed their permission to break the chains. You never needed their approval to rise. Every attempt they made to hold you down was like trying to hold back the ocean with bare hands. And now those hands are empty, broken, shaking. They tried to bury you under doubt, convinced that if they dimmed your light, they could control your destiny. They whispered lies, hoping you would believe them. told you that you were too much, too intense, too wild. But here is the truth they will struggle with. The more they tried to smother you, the brighter you burned. The more they pushed down, the stronger your roots grew. Now, as you walk without hesitation, without apology, they are left behind to wrestle with their own shadows, their own failures, their own weakness. And you do not look back, because what is behind you is broken glass and rusted chains. You have stepped into something they cannot follow: freedom. Your future is where your power lies. Every step forward is a declaration that their control is dead. You do not need to look back to see them crumble. You can feel it, the weight of their regret, the sting of their failure, the realization that the storm they feared has become something even more terrifying: free. You have become what they could never contain, and now they know it. You are the force they cannot predict, the light they cannot dim, the truth they cannot deny. As you rise, you leave behind the ruins of their control, the shattered pieces of cages they thought were unbreakable. Here is the raw, brutal truth. They never stood a chance. They never had the power they believed they did. Their control only worked as long as you believed in it. The moment you woke up, the moment you realized the chains were paper thin, the game was over. Now the chains lie broken at your feet. Do not waste your breath explaining. Do not waste your energy softening the blow. Let them face the wreckage. Let them sit in the silence of their failure. You have moved beyond it. You have risen past the point where their opinions, their judgments, their games can touch you. You were always the storm. They just could not see it because they were too busy pretending they were safe. But the storm has passed, and in its wake, freedom, unapologetic, unchained, unstoppable. You do not owe them closure. You do not owe them comfort. All you owe is to yourself to walk forward heart fierce, knowing nothing they built could ever hold you back again. This is your power. This is your rise. The chains are broken, and they know they will never hold you again. 7. The light unleashed. Blinding, unstoppable, untouchable. They tried to dim your fire. In doing so, they fed it. And now it burns too bright for their eyes to bear. You were never meant to stay small, never meant to stay silent, never meant to hide your brilliance just to make others comfortable. That was never your role, never your destiny. Now, the light that lives inside you, the light they tried to cage, has been unleashed, and it is blinding. This is not a soft glow, not a polite candle flicker. This is a wildfire roaring through every shadow, every lie, every twisted illusion they built around you. This is your power unleashed. They thought they could stifle it by casting doubt, by whispering lies, by stacking walls. But every attempt to dim you was a spark to your flame. Every shove, every insult, every betrayal was fuel. They fed the fire they feared. Now they stand in the blast of your brilliance, eyes squinting, hearts racing, because they cannot deny what is before them. You are unstoppable. But here is the brutal part. They have no choice now but to watch, to witness the force of what they tried to bury. They cannot escape it. You walk in the fullness of your power, and there is no shadow strong enough to withstand it, no lie thick enough to block it, no cage sturdy enough to hold it. Your light is free. Every step you took away from their control sharpened your focus, clarified your vision, strengthened your resolve. You left behind their judgments, their opinions, their chains, and you did not just survive. You thrived. They feel that distance now. It terrifies them because while they tried to pull you back into the mud, to hold you in spaces that kept them comfortable, you soared. You outgrew their hands, their reach, their grasp. Now they are left in the dust, watching the light they cannot approach, watching the force they cannot understand, watching the truth they cannot deny. But here is what hits hardest. You owe them nothing, not your light, not your forgiveness, not your energy. You do not carry the weight of their judgments anymore. You do not measure your worth by their acceptance. Every step you take is for you, for the chosen path you were meant to walk, not the path they tried to force you into. Their voices fade, their control is shattered glass beneath your feet. And while they tremble in the shadow of your unleashed power, you move forward, untouched, unstoppable, unapologetic. You do not need to explain your shine. You do not need to justify your rise. You do not need to dim your light for anyone, because this is what they never understood. Your light was never theirs to control. It was never meant to be caged. It was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to burn. And now that it is unleashed, it consumes everything false in its path. It exposes every lie, every mask, every illusion. It leaves no space for shadows to hide. You have become untouchable, not because you have armored yourself with walls, but because your light is too fierce for the weak-hearted to stand beneath. You stand tall, free, unchained, with the clarity that comes from that freedom. It is razor sharp. You see everything now, the games they played, the manipulation, the fear behind their masks, and you do not flinch. You do not bend. You do not lower your gaze to make them comfortable. You walk forward, your light leading the way, and every step burns brighter. They cannot follow. They cannot contain. They can only witness. This is the light unleashed, and it will never be dimmed again. 8. The collapse of illusions. Their lies are ashes beneath your feet. When the fog lifts, the truth stands naked, and those who spun the lies are left shivering in the cold wind of reality. For too long they wrapped you in fog, wove confusion around you like chains made of mist, hoping you would stay lost, stay small, stay unsure. They spun stories, whispered doubts, twisted your mind with subtle manipulations designed to keep you contained, to keep you doubting your own light. But that fog, it is gone. The haze they cast to blind you has lifted. Now you see everything, every lie they told, every game they played, every fear they disguised as strength. In this clarity, the truth stands stark and undeniable. They were never strong. They were terrified of you, of the power you held, even when you could not see it yourself. Because here is what they never wanted you to realize. You were never small, not for one moment. The only thing small was their belief that they could cage you. Their need to keep you down was never about who you were. It was about who they knew you could become. The moment you stepped into that, the whole game collapsed. Your light burns too fiercely now. What once flickered beneath their fog has become a wildfire that consumes every illusion they built. You rise higher. Your light only grows more intense, unapologetic, uncontainable. You do not just walk forward, you burn through. Every lie, every manipulation, every mask they wore melts in the heat of your truth. Their illusions, nothing more than ashes now. As you move, as you speak, as you live in your full power, the clarity you carry is like lightning, sharp, sudden, undeniable. It does not ask permission, it strikes. It exposes, it lights up the darkest corners where their games once thrived. In that light, the lies they spun look as pitiful as they always were, weak, desperate, transparent. They cannot hide anymore. Let us be clear. You are not their prisoner anymore. You never truly were. The chains they wrapped you in, paper thin, the cage they built, an illusion. Once you saw through it, once you felt the power surge back into your bones, it was over. That is the collapse they feared. Not just the fall of their control, but the collapse of the entire web they wove around you. Because if one chosen one breaks free, if one chosen one sees through the fog, the whole system starts to crack. And you have done more than crack it. You have shattered it. Their fear is louder now, isn't it? You can feel it. In the silence when you walk in the room, in their eyes as they avoid your gaze. That is the weight of their collapsing illusions pressing down. They are drowning in the lies they spun because the truth you carry will not let them breathe. What is most powerful? You do not even have to fight them. Your existence is the fight. Your clarity, your light, your rise. It is the battle cry they cannot silence. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. The truth is loud enough. The truth burns hot enough. But they still hope, don't they? Somewhere they still cling to the belief that maybe, just maybe, you will turn back, that you will question yourself again, that the fog will return. But it will not. Once you have seen the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you have felt the weight lift, the chains fall, the clarity strike like lightning. There is no going back into the cage, no shrinking back into the fog. You are the collapse of their illusions. You are the end of their control. You are the proof that their lies hold no power anymore. So walk in that clarity. Burn in that light. Let the truth blaze so fiercely that no shadow dares creep near again. Their illusions have fallen, and you rise from the wreckage. 9. Crowned for the new earth. Their thrones are ashes. You are the rising sun. The empire of lies falls not with a roar, but beneath the silent rise of those they could never chain. You are not just rising anymore. You are soaring higher, faster, further than they ever imagined you could. Beyond their reach, beyond their comprehension. You have slipped from their grasp, outpaced their systems. Now you hover above the wreckage of everything they built to contain you. You were never just meant to rise. You were meant to rule, not over others, but over yourself, over the falsehoods, over the crumbling remnants of a world that could never hold your light. The walls they built to keep you small, crumbling, the fences they stacked to divide you, to pit you against others, to convince you your worth could be measured by race, by status, by money, rotting away. You stand in the ashes of those illusions, untouched by their decay. They tried to teach you that power was inherited, granted by a last name, a bank balance, a seat at the table of their crumbling kingdoms. They told you that bloodlines determined your worth, that hierarchies ruled the world, that only the chosen, their chosen, could ever lead. But they were wrong. The new earth does not run on those tired rules. It does not recognize their bloodlines, their wealth, their hollow crowns. The old metrics, useless here. The power that courses through you, chosen one, does not answer to their systems. It does not bow to their hierarchies. Your rise comes not through their approval, but through the raw force of your energy, through your fire, through your light that refuses to dim. And they hate it. Hate that you have broken free of their labels. Hate that the divisions they use like iron bars, race, class, status, mean nothing to you now. You have transcended them. You are proof that the power they cling to is a lie, that the crowns they wear are made of dust. But the crown you wear, forged in fire, tempered by storms, is not given. It is claimed. You are crowned for the new earth, and they cannot follow. They cannot climb the heights you have reached because they are still weighed down by the chains of the old world, still clutching the scraps of a system burning down around them, still hoping the thrones they built on sand will stand. But you have left that world behind. You rise, not just for yourself, but for every soul watching, wondering if they too can break free. And when they see you soaring, crowned and unshaken, they remember they were never meant to bow to broken systems either. This is the new earth, and you are its ruler. And now, chosen one, as we stand at the edge of this broken world, watching the old systems crumble beneath the weight of truth, remember this: your rise is just the beginning. The new earth is calling, and you wear the crown forged by every battle, every storm you have survived. If this message lit a fire in you, like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to claim your place among the rising. Share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it, because together we are unstoppable. The world needs your light. Do not dim it now.